Patrick. I just go insane.
You just do the entire podcast on your own.
Time to be quiet for 10
Patrick,
seconds.
Chill out.
after
Yeah,
7
Patrick,
seconds.
put your hands down, you caveman.
Fuck Patrick.
I fought the urge.
Good job. We're all proud of you.
Yeah,
hard.
Way to go, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
High five, Patrick.
Hey, Patrick's all
Get
around.
one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, all Patricks. Low five for that one, I guess.
Yeah.
The lowest of Pats.
So, should I go
All
ahead
right,
and
Patrick, introduce us.
Okay. Welcome to Mole Man Radio Mole Man. Today we're gonna be talking. We're talking about shit.
Scream.
No. Beyond Scream, the overall concept.
Beyond
of the,
Scream.
Yeah,
We're talking about the refranchising.
refranchising.
Oh, yeah.
So today we're gonna be doing the hit series Scream, and my name is Josh Vinson. It's just Josh. It's not Josh Vinson.
Do you want me to cut your last name?
No. It's
Okay, I'm Blake Westfall.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Josh.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Real quick before we get started, I want to make a shout out to our 5 listeners who actually listen to our podcast.
Ooh.
That's not true. It's like 30. Way to go, guys! Way to go!
Yeah.
Thank you.
Before, I don't want to say it at the end, but also if you watch our podcast, please make sure you actually like the video. It'll help us out.
Yeah, well, shut the fuck up. They listen to it.
I know, but they should also like it. Too.
Yeah, you should
Doesn't-
smash
interact.
that.
Yeah,
Comment
interact.
too while you're
Comment.
at it.
Do something!
to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell so you're notified
Shove
for
it
the
up your
next-
butt.
for the next videos to watch.
All right. So, real quick, I have seen all the Scream movies, so I'll be the last one to speak.
Shove
we'll
it up
start-
your ass, old man.
Damn.
All right. We will start with either Josh or Patrick and go around in circles, so that we'll end on me, since I've seen all of them. And I've only believed that Josh has seen one.
Rude.
How many
Yeah,
percent?
Well, yeah, because
I saw My Soul to Take. That's kind
that's a different movie.
of like Scream.
Okay.
I
Well,
like Scream.
It's by Wes Craven.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Scream 5 and 6 start getting soul takey.
The killer kind of looks like Rob Zombie. But we're not talking about My Soul to Take.
We're not
today.
talking about Rob Zombie.
We could talk about My Soul to Take.
Let's go ahead
in
and talk
the
about
future.
Rob Zombie.
All right. How do you like Rob Zombie?
That's
John?
it. I'm done. Music's
No,
good.
let's talk about his music. What do you think about his movies?
I don't
What's your favorite Rob Zombie movie?
like-
Is it the one with his wife's tits, or is it the one with his wife's tits?
What
Or
movie is that?
Or is it
All of them.
All of them.
Oh,
No,
okay.
not the Munsters. I highly doubt there's
no,
tits in
totally.
that.
You haven't seen it.
Oh,
You haven't seen
the
it.
director's edition.
No, regular one. For kids.
Was he just the animation director? in
It's
the-
just
the
PG.
Bailey sequence of
Because-
Beavis and Butthead?
Because she
I don't
flashed
know.
her tits, and it had like
Sorry,
money
Patrick,
between
screaming
it.
up tits.
Oh, okay.
So the Netflix took the money and
So
they're
it was
like, yeah,
okay.
we can keep it in.
Yeah.
Hold
It was
on,
a
Josh is
$10
asking
bill.
about peyote. What?
No, I'm pretty sure he did the. I don't think he drew much of it. The animation sequence in Beavis and Butthead, the movie, where they're in the.
Where they do America?
Yeah, they're in the desert and they like eat peyote,
He might have.
and it does this whole like Rob Zombie sequence, but it has like I can't remember the song. It's like Rat Finks and Suicide Tank People or whatever the fuck he names his things. That sounds cool.
Rat tank people.
Yeah,
Those are the enemies of the underground mole radios. The rats and the tanks.
yeah.
Why'd you bring those up?
I don't know.
Bastard. Them and the
Sounds
chuds.
cool. Anyway, okay, so Scream.
Yeah,
So, I saw the first one. I watched it a few weeks back. It's weird because in the '90s, it was like on TV from time to time in like the censored version, and so I'd watch it. I don't remember if I would watch that one, but I always watched I Know What You Did Last Summer,
Oh, hell yeah.
which is the movie that I always compared Scream to. And whenever I watched that, I was like, this movie kind of sucks. So I would always just assume that Scream did too. And I felt like it couldn't have lived up to the hype because I don't really like Ghostface all that much in terms of like
Whoa.
a killer. I don't know. It's a very excessive design, but not in a bad way. Like it's like you got to put on all that shit. Why don't you just kill somebody?
Well,
It's excessive, but also generic too.
Well,
Like-
Well, it's generic because
Yeah.
how popular it was. I'd say.
Oh, okay.
In term, like
that was like the point, is that they just bought a costume
Right.
at a store.
Yeah, but it just seemed, I don't know, it's like in the movie, first of all, I loved the movie. I thought the movie was excellent.
There we go. Finally, a good comment.
But it was
Damn.
it was funny that like the Ghostface would like stab someone and they're like, oh, like run, and then around the corner someone else would come out and they're like, I'm not Ghostface.
Well, yeah, because they have to take off the cloak, the mask, and the boots, because every Ghostface wears black combat boots.
Yeah.
And like gloves too, so yeah, it is
That's a lot.
It's a whole ensemble, but every time, like exactly, when you see the killer or someone pops up behind the bushes, look at their shoes. It's not like the guy takes off his shoes, because then what does he just throw them
Barefoot
backwards?
in the
Like,
ground.
Everybody looks down. They're all wearing black combat boots because they
Yeah.
were having a sale.
yeah, like
It kind of reminds me of like a Scooby-Doo villain. That said, it's a very iconic killer. I thought the movie worked really well as almost like a horror comedy, especially towards the end. That ending sequence was
Mhm.
killing me.
which we've all seen,
Yes,
right?
yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
Well,
really,
which I have my specific thoughts on that. Well, sure.
well, to
later,
go
but,
over it, like when it was kind of, I will a lot of times, as much as I can see plot points coming, I will totally miss the most obvious ones, and this one tricked me, where I didn't think it was going to be the two people, and it was. And I was like, what? But it's so obvious that they're both like kind of the killers.
Yeah.
But then the way that final sequence goes is it's like in a horror movie where you're thinking like, wait, didn't this person survive? But in this movie, it's like when you start thinking about that person shows up.
Yeah.
And they keep doing all this crazy stuff to the point where like, wait a minute, that guy's not dead, right? He just got shot in the shoulder. And then he like pops up and does something. And then like the news reporter like shows up. And then my favorite scene is when the like boyfriend or whatever is like dead. Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're like leaning over him, and the other horror movie guy is like, this is the scene where he like jumps up and like makes a sound. I was like, there's no way they're gonna do that. And he literally goes, bah! And they shoot him in the head.
It's just really meta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just execute him.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I have enjoyed about a lot of Wes Craven movies, is it just seems like he's having fun and enjoying making the movie, which doesn't really translate super well on a lot of them. Like My Soul to Take is a good example.
Yeah.
You think he didn't have fun making that?
Well, he might have, but that movie sucks. Like
He might have.
it doesn't benefit from the same like kind of loose, fun feel that I think Scream did, and Nightmare on Elm Street,
Mm-hmm.
and even
People on the stairs.
all the way back. No, like way back further to the zombie one, like super famous zombie movie that he did. Pretty sure it was him. No, I don't think it was. Shh. I didn't.
Josh has never been wrong, and
no,
will
no,
never.
no. Yeah, I did not say anything.
Were you gonna say Dawn of the Dead?
You
were gonna say Dawn of the Dead.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Yes, you were.
No.
You fuck.
I guess
Okay.
that's all though for Scream. Like basically, my review is,
I can't wait for you to hear what happens in Scream 5 and 6.
oh my god. Well, so
Because I literally just watched them.
I have to Scream 2. We have to be a little careful on spoilers, I'd say, for me, because I'm going to watch that soon.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Mm. That's okay. I can cover it
Okay.
without spoiling it.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, can I? Yeah. Okay, I'll talk about
Okay.
everything else. Are you gonna watch Scream 3?
Probably not. Maybe
Okay.
I will. I don't really. At that point, I don't care about the spoilers.
Okay.
But
But
oh.
not Scream 2?
No, not really. But
Well, you don't want me to spoil it.
yeah.
Okay.
But my review for Scream.
Fuck you, Josh.
What? What did I do?
What bringing us all
We can't
down?
goddamn talk about Scream 2 now? What are
I
you?
have so much.
What is Scream 2?
The second Scream
Electric
movie!
Boogaloo!
Well, anyway,
Scream 2, too many screams!
Too many screams. Yeah, there's like 20 of them.
Dude, that's Scream 6.
Is it? Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Scream 6, cut off your dicks.
No!
That's the catchline, but it doesn't have
Okay,
anything to do
well,
with the
when we
movie.
get to me, I'll have to tiptoe around some stuff.
All right.
Okay. Okay, my review
We'll
for
see,
Scream, final review. I really liked it. I said like negative things earlier. I can't remember what they were. I can't remember any negative.
It wasn't
things
that
about the
negative.
movie.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It was
Yeah,
fine.
no.
I thought the movie was really good. It was pretty fun. The acting was a little weird. but it was very much of its era. It's like a very solid
late
90s.
late 90s, right? 97.
Yeah, mid 90s,
Yeah.
96. Yeah. I really like horror movies that feel like they're from their era.
Yes.
And that one very much does. Same reason I like. I'm one of the few people that really like the When a Stranger Calls remake, because it's a perfect example of like just a normal 2000 something PG-13 horror movie.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked it.
All right, Ryan, your
My turn?
opinion on Scream, because you've only seen the first one, right?
I've only seen the first one, and Josh, I'm sorry. Josh kind of teed up Scream 1 for me perfectly, especially as like a novice horror guy. Like, I don't watch a lot of horror movies.
What?
But,
Elbow.
Why? It's not making sound.
what are we doing?
Yeah, it's like
Patrick's like picking at the skin on his elbow.
It's like the scene from Who Framed Deborah Logan where she starts like ripping her skin off.
Yeah.
Stop ripping your skin off. Why?
Why? It's
Just feels so good.
my elbow. All right.
Can't feel anything there.
Sorry, I was trying to add some comedy.
Sorry, I'm so dry.
Yeah, sorry.
She's like lotioning it.
Where's Buffalo Bill?
So what's up, Ryan? My weenus.
My weenus.
Would you fuck my weenus?
Yeah, you like that, huh? You like that? You want to touch it?
Patrick, why is your weenus so long?
Going off.
I like the, okay, yeah. Let's get back on the rails.
Okay, back on track.
Scream.
Anyway,
Scream.
I was trying to preface. Josh set up Scream 1 for me perfectly because he didn't spoil anything, and it was a good recommendation. I didn't realize how like meta it was gonna be going into it because it was so referential to like horror tropes, like especially there's like the video. Or like the Blockbuster guy or whatever. I can't remember the character's name, but
Randy.
like Randy, yeah, he was like making all these like references to horror. He's like, oh yeah, the killer's gonna do this, or like the person who dies is gonna do that, and stuff like that. And then there was like that scene in the house where they're like literally doing the thing that he's saying like you shouldn't do. But what was interesting about it is how like literal you should have taken all of that, because looking back on it, you realize, oh, it's the killers that are about to go and like set themselves up.
Yep.
And it's funny because it's like, I didn't watch it twice, but I can imagine watching it again is like a different kind of viewing, because when you know who the killers are, you realize Billy and what's the other kid? Stu. They actually out each other at the very beginning of the movie. They were both like, I think you're the killer, man. And the other guy's like, no, I think you're the killer, man. Yep. Like, and it's just like, it's funny because then it kind of sets you up like, well, the killer isn't really known. And I think for a while you can safely assume, okay, there's one person, but there's like certain clues that tell you like, okay, maybe there's a second person involved, or there has to be a second person involved, because like, how can this killer be in like, it seems like two places at once. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, the only logical solution is like, okay, there's maybe two people working together. At one point during the movie, and it was like kind of, I think during that bathroom scene where she's like, I don't know, like those two girls are like kind of like talking smack about her, and then like there's like someone in the Scream outfit in the stall that like jumps out and like freaks her out. But then it got me thinking, like, is the whole friggin' town in on it? Like, it is like everyone like converging on her to like kind of just fuck with her, basically. But Blake, it sounds like, you know, you might explain a little bit more later down the line how that's not the whole town.
No,
Okay.
that sounds a lot like the gallows too.
But no, that was just Stu.
But that's along the lines of what I was thinking. I was like, okay, so I like didn't, throughout the movie, I still didn't really know who it could have been at all. Like, and then when it finally came out to be like, oh, it's literally the two guys that like outed each other at the beginning, then I was like, okay, that was actually really clever, because the whole time I never, it was like trying to play a mind game with me, or I was like playing mind games with myself, like, who is this person? And then it turns out to be like the actual people that it was at the beginning. So I don't know. I thought it was like unique and effective in that way, because even though it was a horror movie that like referenced tropes, it broke the rules towards the end by making that stride.
Not to jump in front of Patrick, but just real quick, you mentioned that, like, oh, you kind of realize that there has to be two killers. Well, because I think before Scream, most horror movie icon killers, it's always just the one guy.
Yeah.
It's Jason, it's Michael, it's Freddy,
Mhm.
it's Candyman. It's always one guy, and I'm kind of tread lightly here. I don't think Scream was the first one to have two
Okay.
killers.
Chainsaw, kind of.
Yeah, it had a
Really?
family.
I guess
yeah.
that makes sense.
But there's only one Leatherface.
yeah.
But it does have the reveal of that the creepy hitchhiker is his brother and the sheriff. So it does have a reveal that there are more people involved. And I think Scream does a good thing of doing that. Of like, oh, there's so many movies, because like from like the 80s to 90s, whole bunch of slasher movies are coming out, and then all of a sudden comes Scream. And it's like there's two, and it's like, well, shit, there's two.
You know what? I feel like kind of stands out now that I'm thinking of it. I feel like I can't remember besides Halloween, and this wasn't even the point of Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot where it's like Scooby-Doo, where it's like, who's under that mask?
Yeah,
Like,
it's not a who done it.
unmasking
Like
the
who
killer,
is
yeah.
under there. It's always like you know who it is. So it's like this is the first time, not the first time, but this is one of the ones where it's like you don't know who's under the mask, and then it's a big reveal that there's two guys running around, and it's like, oh shit, because like you can be like, oh, I bet it's gonna be him. I bet it's gonna be him. I bet it's gonna
And
be
that's
him.
what most viewers are going to do. They're going to like try and pin it on one
guy
person,
because they're like,
yeah.
oh, it's one killer, and then it's like, oh, there's two.
Yeah.
Was that the rest of the?
No, yeah, no, that,
Okay,
that, was- I
'cause
mean,
then we
that,
can
that
go
was my thoughts
on
in
Patrick.
general, but like, I think it's a great movie that like anyone who likes horror, if you haven't watched Scream, to Josh's point, I think you should give that a watch. Sorry, we're like basically spoiling it
It's
here,
pretty
but
fun.
like,
Yeah.
I think it's worth a watch regardless, just because it breaks the mold.
I agree.
for the
Like I
most
was
part.
talking to you guys earlier that even though you know who the killers are in Scream,
Mhm.
I still find it 100% rewatchable.
Mhm.
Like it doesn't. If your movie relies on the killer reveal,
Yeah.
and the movie sucks, other than that,
Yeah.
then you have no rewatchability.
It's kind of a failure as a
It-
movie,
my
My
too.
soul to take.
My soul to take. Like, once they reveal who the killer is, it's
Stupidest
like I don't
reveal.
give a shit
Yeah.
about this at all. But yeah, like Scream, like I've watched that movie multiple times, and I'm never like, oh, this isn't as good as the first time I watched it. Because I'm pretty sure when I first watched it, I already knew who the killers were.
Okay.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't like a big reveal. But while watching it, I was like, watching this, like, how would you kind of figure it out? Because they do the thing of like, oh no, Billy's stabbed. Oh, it couldn't be him. But then it's like, he's
Right, yeah,
also
there's a
kinda-
point where they like kind of betray each other a little bit, and then it's like, okay, are they like they're just like really fucking with like the viewer
Yeah.
at that point.
there's a
So,
whole lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah, that was good.
Pat.
My name is Patrick.
Hey, Patrick.
I've seen the movie Scream. I have not seen 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Well,
But
one of us
I
has.
do loosely know like what happens kind of in most of them.
But we'll skip over two. 'cause-
Yeah, because we don't want to spoil Josh. Sorry, Josh. I'm spoiling 2 right now.
No.
Yeah, Billy and Stu come back.
Oh
Do they?
man.
No.
I would be very
Wait.
surprised. Yeah, Billy got
Wait.
shot in the head.
That almost was a thing.
Oh.
Stu almost came back. That
Because
was
he's not dead.
no, he is.
What? How'd he die?
The TV,
What the fuck do you mean? How did he die? You
What
watched the
TV?
movie, right?
the TV that falls on his face and like electrocutes him.
Oh, I must have forgotten that.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
that
So
now?
that's so what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
is
we traumatized
no,
it,
yeah.
yeah.
Shaggy can't die.
no, but yeah, originally
He's too
they
powerful.
played around with the
Zoinks.
idea of Stu coming back for the second movie, but they replaced him with another guy.
Huh.
Yeah,
I didn't think he was
which
dead.
is which is without going too much into Scream 6, it's mentioned in Scream 6 that there's a rumor, there's this big like conspiracy theory that Stu somehow survived. And it's really stupid, but go
Yeah,
ahead
but
and-
that wouldn't make any sense.
It wouldn't!
Because if Stu somehow survived, people would know. It wouldn't be a fucking rumor. He'd be in prison. You would know. He's in
Did he
fucking
get up
prison.
and run away?
He's like, he's
What do you
out in,
mean?
Like, an orange jumpsuit with an orange, like, the
Ghostface?
Ghostface mask. And,
God damn it! I
With
wish
the
we
orange
could
scribble.
record Josh's faces because he looked like
He's very
Conan, it's like-
confused, man. Yeah.
My brain is functioning at, like, minimum capacity.
All right, anyway, you people already summarized what everybody
whoa.
should like about Scream 1.
Sorry, Patrick.
I just want to bring up the moments that I liked. I enjoyed when you see the janitor of the school and he's wearing the
Oh,
Freddy
yeah.
the Freddy sweater.
Isn't that straight up Wes Craven?
Oh yeah, that's right. It
cameo.
is Wes
Yeah,
Craven.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I also like how the principal is played by Henry Winkler. I really like Henry Winkler. I like the scene where I'm pretty sure it's in Scream 1 where the girl's trying to crawl through the dog door and the garage door. And
Yeah,
just,
Tatum.
You know what annoys me is she was totally kicking his ass.
She was. She
just knocking him over.
Out of here.
I will say that's one of the things I do like about the first two Ghostfaces is they kind of got beaten up sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I mean they're first high schoolers, and then when it's revealed who they are, one of them's been drinking like the whole night, so he's like stumbling around. And because I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that is Stu trying to kill Tatum. So he's been drinking like the whole night, and then his girlfriend's beating him up. But then she runs into a doggy door, and he's like, "All right, bitch,
turn on the
fucking dumbass."
See you later, alligator.
That reminds me of a point, Blake. I think you brought up a while ago that it always seems like these slasher villains are just invincible monsters, but it's at least different with Scream, right? Mm-hmm. Where they're definitely not invincible. You can push. I mean, or not maybe not in the later. At least in Scream 1, the one I watched,
in Scream 1 you could fight back because he's just a fucking guy,
which added to the suspense because it's like okay, they have a chance at fighting back, so it's not like a total lose-lose situation.
Exactly.
But yeah.
And again, it's two high schoolers, and at the end of the movie, Stu's been drinking, so it's like he's kind of like a little loopy doopy Dumbo. But then it's like you could fight back. That's not like against Jason, you'll never win that fight. 1v1, you're 100%. Gonna die 7 million times. Oh. Well, sorry, Josh, you're gonna lose.
Josh.
Yeah, what about the lake?
The lake.
He drowned.
Yeah, I guess you could drag him back to the lake. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Josh has a mean right hook and you can just knock Jason's block and then drag him to the lake.
Oh, I meant the water one.
The water one?
He drowned and died.
Yeah, but
as a kid.
Yeah.
You take your wins.
So Mother Nature's just standing there in the background like, I'll kick your ass again, boy!
Well, she does!
Or it's the water.
Because the water gets him again a few times.
Yeah, Mother Nature's just freaking sitting there like, oh, you want to go again, huh?
Just cracks her knuckles. It's played by Mike Tyson. Come on, man, come on.
We'll kick your ass, man.
Jason's like, oh shit! Runs away. That's why he went to Manhattan.
That's one of my favorites.
I love the scene in Manhattan where the freaking guy is just like trying to beat him up, and then Jason just freaking uppercuts his head off, and it lands in a dumpster.
Dude, one of my favorites in that one is when he's it's like the principal or something. I haven't seen that movie in so long, but the kill is literally he picks him up, and it goes to it shows him, and he's like, no, oh no, and it's like one of those hobo barrels that's filled with green water with a little dead rubber rat in it.
Oh god!
And it looked awful, but it looks like something from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he goes over and he throws him in, and he drowns. And then Jason's just like, "Yeah, that's it. That's all we got anymore." And he walks away.
There's this. I don't remember which one it is in. It might be 8. But when Jason is killing this guy, he's screaming, "He's killing me! He's killing me!"
Jason's like, "Oh Jesus Christ, calm down!"
I see Jason X.
Yes, I love that movie. It's so bad.
Actually, it's weird. It's shot like a porno. But it's also the parts. There's so many parts in that movie that are that's probably the worst one. In terms of production quality.
Am I not wrong, but isn't there a part where they find that guy who fell into that screw? And we found Miles, he's been screwed. But there's a part where they also another part where they make hologram
part cracked me
summer counselors, and they take out their tits, and then Jason rolls one of them up and
it's one of my favorite cuts in any of those movies because they're like, oh my god, we're just about to have a pillow fight, and then it cuts back to him with
because it cuts back to the guy who does it. He goes, oh no, he's killing them. It cuts back. He's
every time he's hitting them in the
sleeping bag.
You're like, ow.
He turns against a tree. And then the nerd guy goes, oh man, he got out of he went through them pretty quickly. But Scream.
Like that?
Thank you, Patrick.
Do you have anything else to say about it?
So Ryan brought up how like the Scream people were getting beat up and stuff.
Yeah.
But in the later movie, I'm pretty sure you were going to bring up, but I'm going to bring it up.
Okay.
How like the Scream people are like putting up a good fight against like a freaking well-built dude.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it's like a little freaking scrawny girl
Oh my
wearing this suit.
God.
I'm just thinking like in the next one, that's going to happen. It's going to be like a little fucking 5-year-old kid that beats somebody.
Wait, what do you
up.
mean in the Scream? So
Yeah.
is it scrawny like girl?
Yeah,
That
it turns
guy-
out to be this scrawny girl.
Well, in the later ones.
Oh yeah, but
It's-
she still killed this like.
in Scream 2! No, it's
No, it's I'll explain it in a second once
Oh, I
Patrick
can't
is-
wait.
But no, you're right, because it's like they can put up a fight, but then they always reveal who the killer is, and you're like, how the fuck did you win that fight?
Okay.
Like I'm not like, because a lot of times they try to be like, oh, it's the
Yeah.
element of surprise, but I'm like, but no noise was made. Are you
Mhm.
kidding me? Like, not a single fucking wild kick happened to like knock something over. Like, but it's always that, and then they always reveal the killer because they do that because they want you to keep guessing. But then I'm like, wait, I know who the killer is in this scene. I know which one it is because it's always multiple, except for one movie.
Mhm.
There's always multiple, but I'm like, I know who's in that outfit, and there's no way that one was able to completely demolish the guy that
Right.
she killed with no noise. But that's that. I'll get to that when we start talking.
It's like the freaking stunt person in the suit for like the fight scenes, just John Cena. Then it
Yeah.
takes off. They're like a foot shorter.
It's like
Short.
Dan DeVito.
I was gonna have to back out of the filming of the movie, Josh, if it was real. Because
It hasn't been 10 seconds!
It was, no,
I
I
blinded!
did.
It went over there rubbing your fucking legs like a fucking child!
It was 10 seconds.
But Ryan's over there
counted.
going, shh, 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 shh.
He can do whatever he
That's
wants with his
true,
legs.
That's true. No, for full silence, technically, there can't be any noise.
Yeah, okay, be quiet for 10 seconds.
God
Fuck it! Move on! I got enough!
Josh,
God
I don't like
damn
it.
it.
You had a little thing on your elbow, but it's not there anymore, so now I seem like a crazy person.
Was it his long weenus?
Yeah.
Where'd he go?
He's gone. He's left.
He's ashamed.
We can't do a podcast of 3 people!
you can.
All right,
I
let's
mean-
do it. Let's do 10
Okay.
seconds.
Oh, shit.
No, we're not doing 10 seconds, we're moving past!
Fuck you!
I got enough! I got like
15 seconds.
I got like 7.5.
27 seconds.
30-minute seconds.
Why can't Ryan be rubbing his legs?
Because it makes noise.
Sorry, I was
This is a-
anxious. I was anxious.
Yeah.
Speaking of anxious, now we're talking about what?
Okay, 10 seconds of silence. You look over, and it's like when a dog is like licking themselves. Like,
What the fuck are you doing? All right. So now we're gonna talk. Now it's on to me to talk about Scream, the entire
Blake's
franchise,
turn.
because I've seen the entire franchise. And
Time for the Blake's Chud Talk.
Yep, I watched 6 last night, and I watched the 5th one on Thursday, and I watched 4 a long time ago. But first, I'll talk about 1. I'll move my way up.
Last night was Thursday.
I mean, sorry, Wednesday night I watched the 5th one.
What day is today?
Friday.
He has to get his time.
Oh, God!
So-
I can't be here!
So a couple of fun things. Me and Patrick were talking earlier about Scream 1, and you were asking me the motives of like why were they killing people.
Well, I know Billy's motive, but I was asking why they killed Drew Barrymore in the beginning.
Okay, so they killed Drew Barrymore because the implied motive is because she's Stu's ex, and he killed his ex.
Oh.
But the other thing is mostly they just wanted to kill people. But there was a little bit of a motive there. However, at the end of Scream, this is one of my favorite scenes ever, is when Billy and Stu talk about motives to Sydney, because they are talking about how there is no motive. They just want to kill. They just want to kill everyone. But then Billy says he does have a motive, that Sydney's mom basically ruined his family.
Mhm.
And it cuts to Stu, and Stu's like flabbergasted because he didn't know about the fucking motive. Cuts to Sydney, and she's like now heartbroken because she's like, oh shit, my mom did ruin your family. Originally in the script and like the original story, there was no motive for Billy. They were both going to have no motive other than they just wanted to kill people. But then they changed it so Billy would have a motive, and they left Stu being like a psycho. But they gave Billy like an actual motive because like, hey, audience really likes this about one of them kind of having a motive or having a real motive, and the other one just being.
Billy came off way more psychotic to me.
That's true.
Well, yeah,
Like,
well, yeah.
He was like, your mom ruined my family, so I'm killing you and everybody else in this neighborhood.
A lot
and
of
the other guy's
people-
just like,
A lot of
He's
people
here
are
for the
like,
kicks.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
it be messed up if he's like, your mom ruined my family, so I killed her, and then she's like, damn, my mom deserved it.
well, they do kind of like talk about that Billy may have kind of like coaxed or pushed Stu to be the other killer with him, because Stu kind of seems like what's the word? Like, not palatable, not like someone that you can like kind of like force your ideas on. Like
Influential?
Influential. Because, like, Billy definitely had a motive. He definitely was psychotic. He definitely had issues. He definitely was a fucking killer.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, he meets Stu, and Stu's, like, a little unhinged, but he's also kind of, like, a yes man and kind of wants to follow along. And he's, like, very... Because even when Sydney's like, what are you going to say your motive is, Stu? He's like, oh, I was just going to say peer pressure. And I was like... so is that a joke, or is that kind of real? Like, did Billy really bully you to, like, do things with him? But, yeah, I love the reveal that Billy's, like, not only is he, like, the brains of the operation, but he's, like, using Stu. Because Stu, I think, just kind of went along for the ride. He was like, oh, yeah, it's fun! He's like, and, like, he literally says because it's fun to kill people. And I'm like, oh, shit, but Billy's over there, like, concocting something. So then we'll move past all the other movies. A lot of the movies are kind of a little hit and miss. They start getting very wild with who reveals the killer, whatever. But in Scream 3, they reveal... The big twist is there's only one killer, which I actually enjoyed. I thought it was kind of cool that they went away from the 2 and only went to 1. Scream 4, because I won't tell you who the killers are in Scream 2, but Josh gave me consent that I can say who the killer is in Scream 3. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. In Scream 3, it is Cindy's half-brother. Because her mom slept with another guy, thus giving birth to Roman. And Roman...
Mom's just sleeping with everybody.
She is, and that's the whole purpose. That's the whole thing about Sydney's mom is that she was sleeping with everyone.
Yeah, I bet when Billy showed up to kill her, there were like 5 other people.
Well, actually,
Welcome to my
the thing is, the mom was banging Cotton Weary, and they blamed the murder on another guy. They blamed it on Liev Schreiber's character, Cotton. So yeah, she was running around town sleeping with everybody. So then they revealed that there
Sleep
is.
with me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's true.
No, man, you gotta sleep with Neve Campbell. She's the hot one. Dude.
Oh, mama.
Oh, mama. That's MILF. I'm kidding. But hey, moving on. But, so the killer's revealed in Scream 3 to be one killer, and it's Cindy's half-brother. And at that point, I'm like, alright, this is kind of like soap opera-ish, right? For half-brother. Scream 4 comes around, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't think they should make a Scream 4. I don't remember most of it, other than the killer is revealed to be Cindy's cousin. And you want to know why she's killing everyone? Because she's tired of being in Cindy's shadow.
That's stupid.
It's so stupid!
Yeah, it's really dumb.
It's the dumbest shit ever. And then the other killer is just some geek boy who's trying to get laid. And he's just like, I want to make movies of the killings. Guess what? The other killer kills him. And I was like, okay. I was like, this is stretching it. And at that point...
I was going to say, you know what's funny about that is that movie came out after My Soul to Take, which I feel like I'm talking about that a lot.
Yeah,
My
no
Soul
problem.
to Take was supposed
Did you
to
take
be...
your soul?
It did. It felt like it. That was supposed to be Wes Craven's comeback movie.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I'm not. That was supposed to be...
Oh!
Oh my god, he's back. He's back to his horror roots. Look at this.
It's not really...
And then it was awful.
Dude!
And then, so everyone was like, oh shit, he shouldn't make movies anymore. And
shouldn't.
then he made Scream 4.
He made Scream 4.
But I remember when that came out, everyone was like, Scream 4 was awesome.
People talk about how great the character Jill Roberts, the cousin, how great that killer is. I don't really remember her, but I also just remember, this is stupid. It's her fucking cousin. Are you kidding me? This is stupid. To be honest with you, I never thought there was going to be another Scream movie. And then they made Scream 5 and Scream 6, which again, I watched recently. Scream 5. I'm going to spoil it for people. People who are listening to this, if you give a shit, I guess stop listening. In Scream 5, the killers are 2 people from Reddit who are fans of the Stab movies. Stabs is the movies that are made off the real events inside Scream. So Scream 1 became Stab 1 in the series. And these 2 characters are obsessed with the Stab franchise. But there hasn't been any good Stab movies recently. So you know what they did? They started killing again to make a new Stab movie.
Why didn't they just call it Scream? Why did they have to call it Stab?
Because it's the name of the movie. So
because how confusing would it be if you're watching Scream and then you have a movie called Scream
and then they're
in the movie?
self-referencing the movie.
Hold on. So all the characters in this one are somehow related to the characters from the first movie. You have the niece of Stu. You have the children of you have the niece and nephew of Randy. He has 2 nieces. He has a niece and nephew. You have the sheriff and her son from Scream 4 coming back, the Hicks family, and then you have the worst fucking thing ever that I will go down in history saying. The main character is the daughter of Billy Loomis.
That's sick.
No, it's not. Because apparently a month before he started killing everyone,
He banged a chick?
he cheated on Sydney and banged another woman, got her pregnant, and then she tricked her high school sweetheart to marry her and blamed the kid on that guy.
What a convoluted, like...
It's so fucking stupid. And
Stupid
then
thing.
the other worst part is, so then you have 2 children who are related to Randy. Therefore, one of them must be the movie buff. And she is the most unserious character I've ever seen in a horror movie. She doesn't give a flying shit about anything that's happening other than being like, yo, we're in a movie. These are the rules. Everyone's going to die. It's probably you. It's probably him.
Oh.
And she goes on for like a rant. And I was like, do you not give a shit that one of your best friends is literally in the hospital and got stabbed like 6 times? She didn't give a flying fuck. So then, that's the stupid movie. And of course... I know who the killers are because I've seen stuff online, and I was like, okay, obviously it's that one chick right there because she also is being so distant from every other character. But then the ending starts coming. Oh, and also Dewey dies. Dewey gets killed.
No.
Yes. And you want to know why he gets killed? Because...
So disingenuous.
Hold on! So he is leaving the hospital with Richie, played by Jack Quaid, who is one of the killers. And he's also leaving with the 2 female characters who are sisters. And he's with them. Richie's on the ground because he got his arm cut, and he's like, boo-boos! And he fell over. And then the sister's carrying the other sister, while Dewey is fist-fighting for his fucking life against the other Ghostface. Nobody helps him! And then he, like, beats them up and shoots them, and he throws them on the ground, and he's like, yeah, I did it. And I was like, if I was with those people, I'd be like, alright, if there's another killer, it's one of you fucks, because none of you helped me. Are you kidding me? So then he gets into the elevator, and he goes, wait a minute, shh, I gotta go shoot him in the head, that's how this thing's done. And he walks away, and I was like, this is how he dies. They're gonna kill him in the most dumbest way. So he loads his gun, goes over, he's like, I'm about to shoot you in the head. His phone rings. Looks down at it. Oh, he's getting gutted and he's getting stabbed. He dies. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Why would he look at his phone? Why did he walk over to her dead body? Why did you look at the body? Oh, she's wearing a bulletproof vest. Why was that surprised? Every fucking killer since the second movie is wearing a bulletproof vest. Why the fuck are you acting like this has never been a thing before, Dewey? So fucking stupid. And then, of course, when Mindy, the new movie maniac, she's like, oh, because we're in a legacy sequel. Anything can happen. Characters coming back from the previous things, but they could die because this thing has stakes. Oh, my God. And it's so over-the-top meta that I fucking hate it. But then we're moving on to the climax. Oh, there's a house party happening because a character died. Oh, and I'm sitting there being like, this house looks awfully familiar. Lo and behold, it's Stu's house.
Yeah.
And I was like, why the fuck was that on the market? Why didn't you blow up the house?
Blow up that house!
Fucking nuke
It's like, damn, too many people died in this house.
So of course, the ending of this movie takes place in the scene from the first movie. And then, oh, lo and behold, it reveals the 2 killers, and they, of course, bring them into the kitchen to reenact the scene from the first movie. And they're like, oh yeah, the reason we're doing this is because we want new material, because we want a new franchise, we want to make a new movie, we want to make
hold on.
new
I just
ending.
remembered a scene from the first movie.
Okay.
Because another scene that I like is when freaking Randy is watching a horror movie and he's like, look behind you!
Yeah,
right,
And
yeah.
the killer's behind
Yeah,
you.
what does he say, though?
He says, go fuck yourself!
No, what does he say?
I don't know.
What movie is he watching?
How the fuck should I know what
he's
movie
watching Halloween!
He's watching Halloween! And who's the lead actress of Halloween?
Jamie Lee Curtis!
And what does he say to the TV?
He says, you're a goddamn television!
What does he say to the TV, Ryan?
I forgot.
What does he say to the TV? Fuck all 3 of you! He says, look behind you, Jamie!
Oh.
What is the actor's name who plays Randy?
Billy.
It's Jamie Kennedy! It's... Fuck all
I think we're all letting Blake down.
Okay,
here.
but I will say, Patrick reminded me, one of my favorite parts of Scream is when Randy gets shot, because he gets shot, he goes, ow! And he leans with it, and then it immediately cuts to him flying through the air, and he crashes through a table. Anyways, going back to Scream 5. So the two killers, one obviously is the main character's boyfriend. Ha ha ha! And then the other one is some high schooler that he's fucking.
What?
Like, he's in his late 20s, and he's fucking like a 17-year-old.
Whoa.
Nobody talked about it, though. Like,
Whoa.
apparently it was okay.
Elvis.
And also,
We have to bleep all of
the
that.
main character being Billy's daughter means that she sees Billy's ghost. And he's constantly telling her, like, you should kill everyone here. We're serial killers. We're a serial killer family. You should go kill everyone. So then at the end, of
Wait,
course...
because how would she see him doing that if she didn't even know him?
Exactly. How does she know what he... Because he's wearing like a bloody shirt. I was like, how the fuck would you know what his bloody shirt looked like? Did they show you crime scene photos of him dead?
It's like, look, we're revealing you are Billy Loomis's daughter. Look at his dead fucking body!
So then also, while they're like all fighting in the kitchen, Gail and Sydney, of course, tag team killed the female killer because that's the female killer who killed Dewey.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow the stove turns on and there's fire and they shoot the girl and she falls into the fire and catches on fire. And I told Patrick, funny enough, that's the same girl from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood who caught on fire. And then Patrick...
Typecasted.
Yeah, exactly, typecast.
That's what I said. She's a fire girl in Hollywood.
So then what happens is Billy's daughter, Sam, gets on top of the killer and starts stabbing him, and she's really into it because serial killer blood runs in her veins, apparently.
Isn't there
She got
only
horny
one
off it?
killer in the family?
No, what do you
Are there
mean?
two?
In the family?
No, Billy's. Like, beyond
Well,
her.
it's
Is
just...
it just Billy?
well,
So that's not a serial killer family. That's there's a serial killer.
What are you looking at
Oh,
me for?
no, he's going to say there's a spoiler for number 2 that I couldn't say.
Oh no.
fuck! Anyways,
I spoiled it
You
myself!
spoiled it yourself! Anyways, moving on. So of course, she kills the guy, and he's like, "What about my ending?" And she's like, "Here's your ending." And she slits his throat, then she gets a
Damn.
gun and just shoots him in the head a couple
Jesus.
times. And then the girl who got caught on fire runs in, and she's like, "I'm still alive!" And then she gets shot in the head. And then here comes the worst part ever: is Dewey's dead, and Gail comes out, and they're all sad. And they're like, "Oh, so Gail, you gonna write a book about this?" Because the whole thing about Gail is that she writes books about all the things that happens.
Nerd.
Gail says, "I will not write a book about this because the two assholes who are killing people will die in anonymity. Because the whole reason that they were killing people is to get new material. So she refused to write a book." Scream 6 starts. She wrote a book.
What a sellout.
What? I know, she didn't even give a shit. And she kept being like, "You killed my best friend, Dewey." And I was like, "But you wrote a book in 5 seconds? Like, clearly you don't give a shit." So that's Scream 5. Now we'll move on to Scream 6. Also, Scream 5 is complete dog shit. Billy's daughter? Are you fucking kidding me? That's the dumbest shit ever.
I still can't believe that.
Stu's nephew? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And then Randy...
They don't have to be related.
Why
They don't-
is everyone
yeah,
related?
They don't have
That's
to be
one of the
related.
problems of any franchise is they always like, okay, everything has, the entire universe has to revolve around this small group of people. It's
Yeah.
like Star Wars.
Wait till you hear Scream 6.
Oh, God.
So here comes Scream 6. The 4 remaining survivors move to New York together where Gail Weathers works. I don't know why everyone fucking thought New York was great. Lo and behold, spoiler for Scream 6. I know it came out last year or this year, whatever. The killers, there's 3 of them. The Scream 6 is the dad and the sister and the brother of Richie from Scream 5 who was the killer.
Yeah!
And they're like, "Yeah, we know." The dad, who's a cop, is like, "Yeah, I know my son was super crazy and super into making movies, and he was like all crazy, but he's my son, damn it." But Scream 6 starts with another Ghostface killer. Another guy, another kid, who was in Richie's class is running around killing people. Him and his roommate were going to start killing everyone, but then these 3 Ghostfaces heard about that, hunted them down, and killed them, because like, you can't kill our people. And then they get attacked. The 4 heroes are at their room, and then one of the girls is getting attacked in the bedroom, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And then Ghostface comes out of the bedroom, and he's throwing a dead body, and the 4 characters are like, "Oh shit, we gotta get the fuck out of here." Well, there's a 5th girl. She doesn't matter. She's cannon fodder. And they're like, "We gotta get the fuck out of here." 2 characters haul ass out of that room down multiple flights of steps before they realize nobody else is with us. They abandoned their sisters. They abandoned the 2 other sisters in the fucking room where Ghostface is trying to kill them. Lo and behold, Ghostface kills the girlfriend of Randy's niece, aka Mindy. Also in this movie, Mindy was like, "Oh shit, we're in another sequel! Here comes..." And she's like, "Wait, but this is a legacy sequel. Anything can happen," which means any legacy character can now be killed. There are no rules. Anyone can be killed. But she goes, "You know what? I bet you're the killer, Ethan." Guess what? Ethan was one of the killers. And she goes, "I bet you're the second killer, Quinn." Guess what? Quinn was the other killer. I was like, wow, this is really on the
2 for
nose.
2,
And she talked for about, it felt like 50 minutes. About how they're in a movie, and how there's rules, and how they need to do this, and how they shouldn't trust each other, they shouldn't trust anybody. But every time they're like, "We shouldn't trust anyone," the next scene, the people that they're like, "We shouldn't trust you, back the fuck off, where were you, we don't trust you," the next scene, the guy's standing there. I was like, well, clearly you didn't tell him to fuck off, like, he's still there. So then, the worst part of Scream 6 is they reveal the Ghostface Museum, where Richie has collected Billy's shirt, Billy's cloak, Billy's knife, Billy's mask. because at every crime scene in this movie, they leave one of the original masks from the movies, all starting from 5, counting down to number 1.
Crime scenes.
Yes, it is. And they have Dewey's gun, and they have Stu's porno jacket that he was wearing the night that he was killing people. They have the fucking TV! They're filling his face! He has everything! Richie has everything! And then one of the characters goes, hey, shouldn't all this be in evidence? And another character goes, well, yeah, evidence can be bought or stolen or lost. And I was like, but this clearly tells you that a cop is involved. Lo and behold, one of the characters is the cop, and he's the dad of one of the other characters, so it's like, obviously he's the fucking killer.
He's part of it.
And he's also the writers try to confuse him because like, oh look, remember the other cop guy, Dewey? He was the fun, lovable cop guy? He was a new cop guy. Maybe he's the new Dewey. No, he wasn't. Nobody believed that. Like, he was a bumbling idiot. And then also he was like, the killer! Like, he was obviously the killer, because it was so fucking stupid. And then, now Sam is still seeing Billy Loomis ghosts, and a survivor from the 4th one comes back, and she's there now. But when I was watching Scream 6, and they revealed who the killers are, and it dawned on me that they ripped off 2 fucking plots of 2 different movies. Because the killer comes out, and he's the cop, and he's like, and these 2 of the ghost faces come up next to him, and he's like, and ghost face number 1 is... And he takes off his mask, he's like, hey, it's me, Ethan! Oh! And I was like, everybody knew it was you, everyone said it was you, and also you have 0 character development, so therefore you're either a nobody or the killer. That's how it is. So he's like, yeah, I'm the killer! And I was like, that's so stupid. And then he's like, and Ghostface number 2 is... And they go to Ghostface number 2, and Sam, the main character, goes, Mindy? Because she thinks her friend, for years, is somehow now the killer? And she takes off the mask, and it's the redhead girl that got killed in the apartment. They're like, oh, I faked my death because my dad's a cop. Oh, by the way, Ethan's last name is not Landry, it's Bailey, because we're the Baileys. And also, Richie's last name isn't Kirsch, it's Richie Bailey. We're all related, we're all together. And I was like, this is ripping off. Sorry, Josh, cover your ears, I guess. This is ripping off the fucking plot of Scream 2 and the plot of I Know What You Did Last Summer 2.
No!
I know! And I was like, how the fuck did they rip off 2 plots?
Unbelievable.
But also there's a part where Mindy is doing her really long rant about how they're in a movie, they all know each other as characters, but the main suspects are the 3 new characters, and you can't trust the 3 new characters, and it definitely should be Ethan because he's so dorky and so mild that he obviously can't be the killer, and he's also the roommate of her brother, who's Randy's nephew, and it must be Quinn because she's the roommate of the 2 sisters, or one of the sisters, I don't know the living situation, and then they're like, oh, also, it must be my girlfriend because she's also new. But also, you know, we might die. We might be the killers. I don't know. She just fucking ranted. And she was like, oh yeah, everything's coming down. It's all going to be a big loop, blah, blah, blah. And she just rants for fucking ever. And I'm just like, this is so not good anymore. Because one, you're not taking it serious. You're a joke of a character. Because when Randy did it, Randy was a huge movie buff. And he did it because he was like, I don't know what it's about. Oh, but also when she was ranting, she's like, wait a minute, guys, don't you remember in Stab 2, the main characters go to college? We're in college! We're Stab 2! Oh, like, no! Oh, wow! And then, what else happens? Oh, so there's a part where they're fighting the 3 killers, and they run upstairs, and one of the sisters falls off the balcony, the younger sister, and she's holding onto her sister's arm, and there's blood on her arm. She goes, I can't hold on, I'm falling. And she's like, you have to let me go! Because earlier in the movie, they had friction because the 2 sisters are drifting, and one's being way too overprotective, and she's like, you have to let me go sometime. And now it's full circle. I was like, uh-huh. So then she gives the younger sister a knife, so when she drops her and she lands on one of the killers and stabs him a whole bunch of times, I was like, okay. And then the other killer's like, I have a knife, and the main character's like, I have a gun, and shoots her in the head. And then the main bad guy, Dad, shows up, and he has a gun, and he runs at her with the gun, like he's like gonna stab her. They tackle each other off the thing, and then he wakes up from like a little bit of a knockout, nappy time, and lo and behold, Sam has taken Billy's cloak, put it on, taken Billy's knife, because she's like, I'm just like my dad! Oh. And then stabs him like 20 times, takes off the mask, and she goes, I'm not gonna kill you, because you think I'm a killer. And then she looks at her sister's like, yeah. And she goes, yeah, but you fucked her for a family. So then she just kills him! And I was like, wait, what? I was like, did you just say you're not gonna do that?
Well,
but
whatever.
Wait, so what's Wednesday Addams' relationship?
She's the sister of Sam, but she's not Billy's daughter.
Okay.
Because Billy fucked Christina
Aguilera.
Whatever, sure. And then Christina Aguilera married whoever gives a fuck Carpenter. And then Sam Carpenter is Billy's daughter, but then later they had Tara Carpenter, which is not... She's a half-sister of Sam.
Okay.
So that's who that character is. And, so then, they do all this shit. Sam goes outside, she's holding Billy's mask, and she drops it and walks away, thus ending her belief that she is somehow Billy's fucking spirit kid. I don't know. But they're making Scream 7, which I think is stupid. Because...
What if in Scream 7 she's the killer?
No, I'm gonna tell you something. I was talking to my partner today, and I was like, hey, I'm losing my shit because Scream 5 is basically a remake of Scream 1. Scream 6 is basically a remake of Scream 2. And I was like, that means Scream 7 is gonna be a remake of Scream 3. And that's when it hit me, like an epiphany. I crouched down, and I was like, wait a minute. There's a rumor that Mark Kincaid, who is Cindy's husband, aka the man introduced in Scream 3, is coming back for Scream 7. And I was like, there's no fucking way they're gonna remake Scream 3. There's no way you can keep remaking the original trilogy with new characters with almost seemingly eerie plots and just doing stupid shit. Also, I just fucking realized the Scream 2 and Scream 6 end in like a movie theater. What the fuck? How can you keep remaking the same movie? Why,
Poor Josh.
What the fuck? I'm sorry, it's so stupid.
Spoilers!
No, he knows. He knows
Now I
when the
know it
movie is.
ends in a movie theater.
When you see the movie theater, you're
Actually,
like, oh, here we go.
It's not a movie theater. I know what it is, but it's not a movie theater. But I can't say anything because
Spoilers!
it's not a spoiler.
Now I know it doesn't end in a
Josh,
movie
how
theater.
old
God damn it, Josh.
You're
I'm
like
like
30.
40.
Okay?
Yeah.
You had plenty of time to watch Scream 2.
No!
Fuck. So,
He's on his deathbed
So also,
right now.
real quick, when they stab Bailey, the detective Bailey, I can't remember his first name. They stab him to death. They shoot the other killer in the face, and then of course Ethan gets up because
His name is John Scream.
Sure,
Detective.
John Scream Daily. But of course one of the killers gets up and he runs because that's how it is in every Scream movie. One of the killers isn't dead. He runs, and Kirby Reed, the survivor from Scream 4, throws the TV that killed Stu into this kid's face and kills him immediately. And I was like, fucking God! And also, I am sick and tired of the Scream franchise not being able... Basically anything after, I'll say, 3, every killer that they've introduced has somehow been a version of Billy or Stu. Because Ethan in this movie was just a Stu ripoff. Because literally as he's trying to kill Tara, he's like, yeah, I've always wanted to stick it into you at some point. And I was like, that's funny because in Scream 1, Stu said, Sid, I always had a thing for you. So I was like, cool. So before the killer kills his victim, he says that he's always wanted to fuck her. I was like, why are you just a ripoff of the other guys? And I was like, but I think I was talking to Patrick about this, and I was talking to my partner. Scream 6 would have been much more better, and so Scream 5, if Richie lived. Because none of the killers have ever lived before. And if Richie, the kid who's like obsessed with the movies and making stab movies and making stab material, if he lived and then like was revealed to be the killer of Scream 6, but then teamed up with like his weird fucking family, because then it reveals his Scream museum and he's the killer, I think that would have been a pretty solid fucking movie.
Yeah, it would have been more interesting.
But they didn't because they have to kill the killer at each end because the next movie they have to have a big, who's the killer? And I was like, but you could still do that with other killers but still have one carry over. Like, every character that they've introduced that's the killer, their motives are weak as fuck. They're losers. The acting's bad. Their fucking deaths are kind of lame. Like, I don't fucking...
And they have to be somehow connected to a previous
And they
movie.
have to be somehow connected.
That was the thing I was going to say that I really hate about all these refranchising is nostalgia for nostalgia's sake,
awful.
right? It's like none of the relics from the past help move the plot forward. It's always just like trying to capitalize on like people's like, oh, I love this old movie.
I love that. Also, to go back to Ghostface being like a undefeatable monster.
Yeah.
So Gail's at home and she gets attacked, obviously. But they introduce her boyfriend, which also is in very bad taste because they just killed Dewey, and now they introduce that... Because first they turned Dewey into an alcoholic, and he gets fired from the police department because you can't have a legacy character unless he falls apart. Luke Skywalker! So here comes Dewey, he's alcoholic, he's depressed, and him and Gail are no longer together. And then in Scream 6, she writes a book behind... Even though she said she wouldn't, she basically betrayed everybody. They betrayed his death. And then they introduce her boyfriend because they need someone to die. So he's there, and he's a pretty well-built dude. And the killer who kills him is the short sister, Quinn. And somehow she sneak attacks him, grabs him by surprise, pulls him behind, like, a bookshelf, stabs him to death, and then throws him into the room, or pushes him into the room. And Gail hears nothing. But she did hear, like, a silent noise, and she looked around, she's like, oh, that's probably nothing. And I was like, aren't you curious where your boyfriend is? Like, where the fuck did he just go?
Weird.
And I was like, again, it's one of those things where I'm like, why? I know who that is. Because the other two killers, one is jerking off in a park and the other one's jerking off in a van. So I know which one is that. I will say I did like the reveal of like, oh, they faked her death so nobody would think that she's a killer. But then somehow the cop dad showed up first, took the body and replaced it with a different body. And the coroner and all the other cops were like, okay with it?
Replaced it with a different body.
Yeah, he replaced it with a different body.
So he's driving around with like a body in his car.
Apparently.
It's to cheat the
I
car.
mean, he's-
I finally have a use for this body.
I've been
also,
dragging around.
when they go to the Ghostface Museum, Mindy meets Martin, Randy's niece. She shows up and she's sitting there next to Kirby Reed, Kirby was the Randy of Scream 4. So both Randys are now sitting next to each other. And, Mindy, last night her fucking girlfriend got killed and gutted, and then she fell and bashed her head open. It was all blood. Sits down with Kirby. What do? What's your favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie? This one. Who's your favorite Freddy? This one. Who's your favorite whatever? This. We both love horror movies. I was like, you're literally being hunted and killed, and your girlfriend just died, and you're sitting there, and like, I think Mindy was kind of flirting, and I was like, aren't you in like mourning right now? And it was just, nobody took anything serious. Except only one dude took anything serious, and he was like the neighbor. Because he shows up, and she's like, oh my god, I'm so scared. And it's Sam's new boyfriend that she's hiding from people. Because she's like, I don't want anyone to know I'm dating this guy. And he shows up, and he's like, yo, don't trust anyone, don't trust me, I'm going to give you space because I shouldn't be here. And then he shows up later, and she goes, okay, we'll all the characters, we're going to go to the Scream Museum, we're going to lure Ghostface there, and we're gonna shoot him and kill him and stab him. We're gonna execute the motherfucker. Wait, let me turn around. Boyfriend guy, don't come with us because I don't trust you. I don't know you. You're new. And he's like, yeah, valid. And he walks away. And I was like, so that dude is, I know he's not the killer, but if I was watching this, I'll be like, so either he's the killer or he's just the most solid person on this earth. He's like, you're right, you don't trust me. But then they bring Ethan, who they straight up look him in the face. I'm like, I don't trust you. Get the fuck away from me. You're obviously Ghostface. Oh, and then also, Mindy, continuing her path of not giving a shit, her brother gets stabbed 8 times, somehow lives. Jeez. And he comes out on a gurney. Mindy runs up, she goes, oh my god, guys, I know who the killers are. It's Ethan and Bailey. And then like, oh, and Quinn too. She goes, oh shit, I got the killers wrong again. Oh, poo. Oh, and she looks at her brother, she goes, oh damn, you're alive? Wow. She goes, wow, they gave me a lot of drugs at the hospital. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
How do you not take drugs?
The brother's just laying there bleeding out like, just let me die.
To me, the thing with Randy is, yes, Randy knew horror movies, and he was kind of a goober, but he took shit seriously. Mm-hmm. Mindy never took anything serious, neither did, well, Chad, her brother, kind of did, but not really. And also, Chad was kind of a weak-ass character, too. But they just keep writing characters badly, and then the killers suck, the acting sucks, and it's like, man, they can't get the same momentum that they had, and everyone talks about how great the female killer is in Scream 4, and again, I don't really remember it. I think her motive is absolutely ridiculously stupid. I don't want to be my cousin's shadow anymore, so I'm just going to kill my whole town. What the fuck are you talking about? She killed a McCulkin brother. Well, he was the other killer.
Macaulay Culkin?
Rory? No, not Rory. It's Kieran. What? Oh, maybe it is Rory. No, it is Rory. Kieran's the oldest, I think. Or maybe it's McCulkey. Who gives a shit? McCulkey. But yeah, that's how I feel about the Scream franchise. In my personal opinion, they should stop making them immediately.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who the killer is going to be in 7. It's going to be stupid.
Do you know who the directors are? Is it different directors in the newer one? Like
yes,
5
because
and 6?
Wes Craven is...
It's
AI.
Right, no, but like...
No, 5 and 6 were made by the same people.
The same people, okay,
yes,
okay, that's what I was curious about.
So here's something that I think is really, really bad. So, when they contacted Neve Campbell and they're like, hey, can you return for Scream 5? She was like, whoa, I am not comfortable with returning to a Scream movie without Wes Craven's, like,
directing it or
what's
writing
the,
it.
what's, blessing. Without his blessing, because she's like, the script doesn't have his blessing, you guys don't have his blessing, I don't have his blessing.
Yep.
The way that they persuaded her were like, whoa, wait, hold on. We really love Wes Craven, and we really love the Scream movie.
Oh, they were hyping him
like,
up and all that. Yeah.
Okay, and then she showed up, and her character is just like nothing, because she's over. Like, it's the same thing with like Lori and Sally, where she shows up and she's like the tough one. She opens up her car, she's got guns,
She's
and I'm
ready.
just like, and she's like, I put a tracker on the car so I can follow them, and I was like, what the fuck? Who are you?
Yeah.
Like, why are you a super spy?
I threw away my entire life to dedicate completely to this traumatic experience I had and didn't actually deal with it at all.
Yeah, but she has kids and she's married.
It's like the Sarah Connor thing from Terminator Dark Fate.
It's all of them. Like the funniest one was Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I've been waiting for you, and you're like, and she's
Gets her.
like dead, like immediately.
But yeah, it's so Sydney comes back and then Sydney's not in the 6th, and honestly, I don't think she should be in the 7th. I don't think there should be a 7th, but I think one
Sounds
also,
like they're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Also, Gail got stabbed a whole bunch, but she obviously lived, and I'm like, what is this crap about bringing back the legacy characters, and then also in Scream 5 when the killers are being revealed. One of the killers straight up says the reason we had to kill Dewey is because we had to prove that our sequel's not like others, that this sequel has stakes. I was like, wow, this is the most meta fucking thing I've
So
ever
the first
heard.
movie didn't have stakes? What?
No, apparently. And I'm just
None of the
tired-
movies had stakes.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
You know, like when certain movies are made, there's always like that very iconic moment in certain movies. And then when they make more and more movies, they keep trying to do
They leverage that
same-
iconic moment.
They keep trying to do it again, and you can never catch it. Because Randy Meeks, I'm sorry, not to sound like a super fanboy, you'll never get that character
That
again.
feeling again,
Yeah,
and
because you tried to do it in 4, and I was like, okay, the horror movie fanatics. And then you went too hard with it in 5, and you went even harder in 6.
But it's also, that character to me is it's like Wes Craven speaking through that character.
Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
his character. That's him being like, because it's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek of like, oh, these kids, they watch horror movies. Like, how stupid would it be? Because even Randy's like, yo, whoa, you don't ever just say, I'll be right back. And Sue's like, hey, man, I'm going to get a beer.
Yeah,
He's
right,
like,
exactly.
no, man, I'm
Me
getting
and
a beer.
Owen,
I'll be right back. And he's like, ah! And like, it's all kind of like tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
Of, like, there's rules to survive horror movies, but all these kids do the wrong thing.
Yep.
But then some of them do live because they do the right thing. But then later, you have so many characters literally... I explained to my partner, characters who literally are chewing the scenes because they're talking nonstop, explaining the entire plot, the entire world, and also explaining how woke they are as like, I am a character in this movie. Get it? Because this is the Stab franchise. We're making Stab movies. I also did lie to myself in my sleep. I laid there, pulled up my blanket, and I told myself in my brain, when you tell yourself a lie over and over and over again,
And then you believe it? Yeah.
I told myself that Scream 4, 5, and 6, they're not Scream movies. They're the Stab franchise.
Oh my
and
God.
That's why they're so bad.
So did you
Because
have Stab in your head as like
I was
an
like, yes,
actual,
those are
friend?
Stab. That's Stab
funny.
1, that's Stab 2,
Yeah.
that's Stab 3, because it's not Scream anymore. Because
Yeah.
they're just... Because the whole thing about the Stab franchise in the Scream universe is the Stab franchise gets ridiculous, and there's ghost faces with flamethrowers, and they're
There's a ghost face that's a monkey.
yeah, and they're at Stab 8 or 9 or something. So I'm like, yeah, I now believe that the newest Scream movies are the Stab franchise because they're just. And then also Mindy's like, oh yeah, we gotta bleed this franchise dry, and I'm like, oh, and one time she gets stabbed and she's dying. She goes, oh man, fuck this franchise. I'm like, fuck you.
Oh man,
Fuck
you're just
you,
being too
you
meta
fucking
at that
loser.
point. It's just too far.
We should take a break.
Oh,
Because
hold on. Something that I
What-
thought of.
what, Patrick?
Was shut the fuck up, Blake. Even though you didn't say anything, shut up with your goddamn stupid face in your hands. What are you complaining in your head? No, it's a good comparison I'm gonna make right now.
Okay,
let's hear it.
Because you were talking about Randy and stuff, and
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, but I forgot to tell you, is that Randy and Marty from Cabin in the Woods are similar.
Yes.
Comparison sucked. Just no, I love that. I'm just kidding.
Wait, but what
I
Patrick
liked
is saying
it.
though, that is a good way to write that type of character without writing the same character.
Yeah.
Because they could have wrote Mindy as that type of character. Like they did it with Kirby. I feel like Kirby was a little bit better because she was just a girl who liked horror movies. Which, yeah, it makes sense. But then you have Mindy, who's like, I'm the new Randy, and she's like, I'm the new Randy, and she screams at everyone's face, I'm the new Randy. Did you know I'm Randy? Did you know I'm Randy?
Calm down!
And apparently one of her the thing that's weird, one of her favorite things to do to relax is watching Stab 1. And Stab, like,
great way to relax.
she loves watching the Stab franchise, which includes a actor playing her uncle being attacked and killed, and like attacked and like stabbed. Oh, real quick though, do you guys want to know some like little fun trivia about the Stab franchise?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So in Scream 3, they're making a Stab movie, but I think in Scream 2 they introduce a scene from Stab 1, and then in Scream 5 they actually show a casting list of who's in Stab as characters. David Schwimmer plays.
What?
David Schwimmer plays Dewey. Fucking Luke Wilson plays Billy, and Vince Vaughn plays Stu. And I was like losing my mind. I was like, oh my god! I was like, look at all that shit.
That's
and
wild.
funny enough, in Scream 2 or 3, they actually do show a clip of Stab, and they have a actress playing Sydney, and they have an actor playing Billy, and they actually have that scene when they're in school and they bump into each other. And he's like, "Oh, I did my phone call. I called my dad," and she's like, "You're the killer!" And she runs away.
That's actually pretty good.
I'm trying to think of other little fun facts of stuff. But yeah, for some reason, they always try to bring back Stu, which is funny enough because then Matthew Lillard has actually had cameos in multiple Scream movies, and he has a cameo in Scream 5. I did read, though, that in Scream 5, they kind of ran out of budget to hire more people. So a lot of the extras at the end of the movie, which is at the Stu's house, where they're supposed to be having a memorial for a character who died, there's a lot of adults, because those adults were supposed to be extras at the hospital. And they're like, shit, we can't buy any more extras. I guess you guys can just stand around here. And if I'm not mistaken, one of them is Jamie Kennedy as his cameo. So Jamie Kennedy's in at that party, and then I think Matthew Lillard, if I'm positive, Matthew Lillard shows up on a YouTube video as a ghost face with a flamethrower. Yep.
I thought that Matthew Lillard's cameo was like a voice in the party or something.
I think he might have too. Drew Barrymore has a voice in Scream 5, though.
Dude, Drew Barrymore has a voice in real life.
Whoa, that's crazy. Did you know Drew Barrymore was originally supposed to be Cindy?
Did you know that
That
Drew
makes sense.
Barrymore...
I can buy that.
Oh, fuck! I just realized something!
Jesus Christ!
Okay, so speaking of stupid legacy stuff about how everything has to be connected and everything has to be circled, everything has to be characters.
Yep.
In Scream 5, Chad Meeks Martin, Randy Meeks' nephew, is dating a girl named Liv McKenzie. And she has barely any screen time, barely any dialogue, and her biggest moment of dialogue is when she's screaming at Mindy, being like, "Oh, do you think I can't be the killer? You said I was too boring to be the killer. Do you think I'm the killer now? I might kill you. I could kill anyone. I could kill your brother." And Mindy's like, "I might think you might be the killer now." Her name is Liv McKenzie because, if I'm not mistaken, I think I read this, the Mackenzies were the neighbors of Drew Barrymore's character. It's all connected.
Oh my god, that's
That
so
is
stupid.
the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard. Are you kidding
Why do
me?
they keep doing that?
Speaking of Drew Barrymore, every time you said the name Chad, it made me think of fucking Tom Green's character from Charlie's Angels.
Oh, yeah.
You don't like the Chad? No, I love the Chad. She loves the Chad.
Well, yeah, because there was a part where Liv is trying to fuck Chad, and she's like, we should go upstairs. He goes, you want to go upstairs? And she goes, yeah. He's like, you mean alone? And she's like, yeah, why not? He goes, well, I'm only 90% sure you're not the killer. And she goes, fuck you, Chad, I'm leaving. And she runs away. He goes, oh, babe, come back. And he's like, oh, damn it, I didn't get laid. And I was like, well, you lived though.
All you need to do is dress up as Handlight.
He was the killer.
Also, like, some of like the killings were like weirdly framed and killed. Like, so when Chad gets attacked and stabbed, it's like, it kind of seems bumbling. Like the guy bungled to attack Chad and stab him.
Sounds like they were trying to do a Scream 1 thing where they were kind of amateurish, but
yeah, it was
not,
it was a weird
done
camera
wrong.
shot.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is weird, man. And then also Chad just apparently bled out on the yard and nobody gave a shit. And then finally he's like, oh, I'm alive. And I was like, well, obviously you're alive because no one actually killed you. You get stabbed and the killer's like, oh shit, and ran away. I don't know.
Sounds like a mess.
But Scream 6, I gotta give you a shout out because you had movie references to Trick or Treat, Murder Party, Babadook, and a whole bunch of other ones because it's around Halloween, so everyone's wearing masks and shit. And lo and behold, a bunch of jackasses bought Ghostface masks. Also, to be honest, if Stab is based on a true story and like the Ghostface thing was based on that killer, stop making it. Stop making the mask. Stop making that costume.
I just realized those masks were so crazy popular. Like, I remember wearing a ghost face.
Oh, like when we were younger? Yeah, I remember that whole era.
There was a whole bunch of
like
them.
Early 2000s, I remember that.
They had ones
like,
that like
huge.
blood was running down the face.
Well, and the knife too. You get the knife that had like there was like a bleeding knife.
Like this thick.
Yeah,
Dude, that just makes me think of the Ghostface Museum in Scream 6. They literally had the knife that Billy used to stab people. They had all the knives. They had all the stuff. I told Patrick, after a certain point being in evidence, you get rid of this shit. I told Patrick they should melt it. How the fuck? Why would you keep that? And the gun of Dewey that they had was the gun he had in 5. How the fuck did you get the gun from a year ago?
Yeah, you have to transfer that shit. Like
so
stuff is regulated.
They had phones that people had. They had clothes. They had literally Billy's shirt that he wore when he was killing people and that he died in. He had the. But wouldn't the coroner take that and cut it off to do an autopsy? But
I don't know. Actually, I have no idea about it.
But yeah, they had all of it, and I was like, this is so stupid because you can never explain how any of this was obtainable. Well, evidence can get bought. There's dirty cops. I was like, apparently the cops in Woodsboro are just assholes, and you can just buy everything from them.
They probably just gave it away at a cop garage sale.
Yeah, it's like
So, Blake, I have a question for you, but maybe we should save it for our next round.
I guess that's fine. I guess Josh decided to move the chair. So real quick,
Sorry, we're all so noisy.
Just to wrap up how I feel about the Scream Museum. When they walked in there, I literally out loud said, "Is this the fucking Batcave?" Because they had the fact is they had mannequins wearing the cloaks of all the ghost faces with their mask and their weapons. And I was like, this is the Batcave. This looks like the Batcave with the Batman of all his fucking suits. But then also, something that doesn't make... They also had like a dummy tied to a chair of duct tape of Steve, who was one of the first kills in Scream 1. With the duct tape and everything. I was like, what? How did they get all this? Yeah, it's...
And how would they know about that one?
Exactly. They somehow knew about everything that happened. Real quick though, Josh, put your finger down. I gotta say...
You just put it up higher.
I'm gonna say my roommate's opinion about the Scream, because she loves the Scream franchise.
The Scream. That's the next one.
The Scream.
Scream 5 is for the bin. Trash. Garbage. 6 was still a mess, but I think they did an awesome job of character development. Sure. I'll give you that one. But yeah, 5 sucked.
Is that it?
Yeah, she's told me multiple times, though, that she...
There's none for any of the others?
Oh.
Did she skip all those?
No, she watched all of them.
Oh.
I guess, well, fuck, guys.
Maybe
I didn't ask her opinion.
You only asked about 5 and 6.
I'm pretty sure she likes the other one.
Hey, I need your opinion on 5 and 6.
She asked her about the other one. She's a huge Scream fan. She's a Scream girl. She has like Ghostface masks and everything. So if I get killed,
oh god,
is she the killer?
Yeah, in Scream 7.
But
jeez.
But yeah, Ryan wants to ask me a question. What's up?
Oh yeah, so I think this is a safe question for Josh to hear. But would you say okay? Maybe rank Scream 1 through 4. But I specifically wanted to know, like, do you think Scream 2 or 1 is better?
1 is fantastic. It's phenomenal.
It still beats out 2. Okay.
Without spoiling Scream 2, Scream 2 to me, so there we go.
Damn.
So Scream 1, Scream 1 is very, very, very solid. It's a very good movie. I love it. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Scream 2, of course, they have the meta jokes of, some characters being like, oh yeah, sequels aren't good as the first one. Name a sequel that's as good as the first one, that kind of shit. Because it's like, oh, haha, tongue-in-cheek, this is the second Scream movie. But I think it actually holds up pretty good to the first one. I think it's a pretty good, solid follow-up because it doesn't... It's not crazy. The plot isn't crazy. The killers aren't crazy. It's not like, oh, this is Cindy's like dad is now killing everyone, or it's not
Cindy's dad's roommates, brothers, like
exactly. It's
some bullshit.
And since it's also earlier, it's like not ridiculous down the line of like, oh my god, they've already done this trope, they've already done this killer, they've already done this thing. Because like I said, I've seen the Billy and Stu characters multiple times now because they keep doing like, oh, what if this character was a little Billy-ish? What if this character was Stu-ish?
Billy.
Yeah, a little Billy-ish.
I've been a little Billy-ish.
But no, Scream 2 I think is a good follow-up, and Scream 3 I actually do enjoy because her having a half-brother tracks.
Okay.
If you have a killer that's family related or anything like that, and it tracks, that makes sense. If you're like, oh yeah, she has a half-brother because her mom was sleeping with almost like 5 different dudes. Because she was sleeping with her dad, the dad, obviously not her dad.
But she's the one shooting out the kids. Nobody knew that she was just having babies everywhere.
Like, wow, I mean, you're right. You're really
Pregnant all the
9
time.
months.
Where's the kids?
Well, I think I have to look at the timeline of like the mom. So when she slept with Billy's dad,
That's a good point.
she didn't have a kid. And then she had a kid with Lance Henriksen's character. And I don't know when she had that kid because that's a weird timeline. Yeah, I never really thought about that. That's 9 months of a year where you're like you're trying to hide a baby from like your husband.
So it's just really bloated.
Oh, sorry, geez, big poop. Like, I'm constipated. But no, there must have been something there that like I think the mom maybe the dad left the mom. I don't remember. It's weird. I gotta look into that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Of course.
But yeah, her having like a half brother made sense because again, you already established the moms as a character.
Yeah.
But then introducing her cousin in the fourth one being completely psychotic and killerish, it's like, where the fuck did this come
Off the
from?
wall kind
Also,
of thing,
you have a cousin? What the hell? What is this? Also, I will say one of my least favorite things about the later Scream movies is almost every single survivor has to say the line, oh, I have a history with this. Oh, I've been through this before.
Oh, that's
I've
annoying.
been in your position before. Like, Kirby's like, oh, yeah, I've been stabbed before. Oh, yeah, this has happened. I have a history of this. And every single character's like, we've been here. We've been in your shoes. I was like...
Obi-Wan Kenobi walks in. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Exactly. And then he
Hello
cuts
there.
one open.
He's
he
the
stabs
killer.
him, kicks her arms. But yeah, it's just like... I just... If you do something tongue-in-cheek, I'm fine with it. But when you throw it in my face so hard of like, hey, did you know I'm a survivor from the past movie? Or, hey, did you know that we're in a movie and we're going to be meta about it because we're in a movie and we're characters who are very well-versed in horror movies and we know that we're back and we know that we're going to die and we know we can't trust anyone. Did you know that? Hey, Blake, I'm looking at you. Because that's literally how it feels. It felt like a character was looking me in my eyes.
Like straight up just talking to you.
Talking to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're horrible.
Yeah.
You need to make your own, like, Scream throwback.
Just make
movie
Stab.
thing.
You know,
Just make Stab.
it's funny that you mentioned that because when I was a kid, I made a Scream comic,
Oh.
and then I don't know what
And
happened
then
to
all
it.
of us were the characters and you killed
Well,
us.
no, so
And
my,
you were like,
my Scream,
Got you guys, finally.
My Scream comic was to take all the characters from 1, 2, and 3, and they're all existing at the same time in the same universe, and the killer was going to be randomly like 2 of them. So it was like all the
you
characters.
randomly generated the killer?
Yeah, because
In his brain.
when I was a kid, I like to pick favorites, and I didn't want Billy to die, so I want to make Billy.
You like Billy?
I want Billy to be a good guy, but he's dead. He's a bad guy.
He is dead.
Yeah, I can't remember how I made the killers, but
Randy.
So one thing I think is like I'm trying to remember. There's like a few like little tidbits of like random shit that's like, oh hey, you know, like they talked about this or whatever. Because I think I was talking to Josh about this earlier. Maybe I said it during this podcast. I can't remember. But Wes
Just say it
Craven
again.
But so Wes Craven did do number 4. He did not do number 5. He did not do number 6 because he passed. But number 6 did do a horrible, disgusting attempt to honor him by naming a kid after him. There is a Wes Hicks character. Guess what? He dies.
Oh.
And then also really bad. Scream 5. You casted really fucking horribly because you casted Dylan Minnette and Jack Quaid. Jack Quaid is coming off the fame of The Boys. And you have Dylan Minnette coming off the fame of like a bunch of random horror movies and also 13 Reasons Why. Those are the only 2 actors I recognized. And as soon as I saw them in the trailer, I was like, so either both of them are the killer or one of them's the killer because they're the only actors I recognize. Lo and behold, one of them was the killer and the other one was like the first one to go. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I was telling Patrick, the Dylan Minnette kid looks a lot like David Arquette, sort of. And I was like, he should have just been his kid. Like, why wasn't that his son? Why didn't Dewey and Gale have kids? But also, I'm so sick and tired of, like, legacy movies where the good, go-happy character gets dark and gritty and becomes an alcoholic. And I was like, wow, I've seen this happen 50 million times. And there's literally a part where Dewey meets Richie and he goes, you're probably the killer because you should never trust the love interest. And then he sits down with the rest of the kids and he's just like, yeah, it's probably him and it's probably her. And like, oh my god, he called it so early. I was like, because he's been through this before.
Yeah, but then he like drank and blacked out and forgot everything. He was like, hey, everybody, we're friends!
Yeah.
And then he got stabbed.
A lot of people did point out that they like the tidbit of information that Scream 5 is the first movie to reference Tatum, his sister.
Channing Tatum?
Yeah, I was literally
His
thinking
sister.
that.
She magic mic'd herself to death in a garage door.
Holy shit.
But that's Dewey's sister, and none of the other movies have mentioned his relationship. But in Scream 5, he has her ashes. Why didn't the Scream Museum have her ashes? They could buy everything else, but they couldn't buy the ashes? The Scream Museum was so stupid.
Nice.
But it would have been cool if Richie had lived, but Richie was dead, and it was just stupid. I hate it.
I think we're done because Blake is saying some shit he said like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, we're circling back around. I do want to say one thing, though, about, like, I always really appreciate when a horror movie grounds itself in plausibility, right? Because it sounds like as you've described to us, as the Scream franchise goes later on, it becomes, like, you have to really suspend your disbelief to, like, keep along with the movie. Because, like, that one point when you said where, like, basically this, I don't know, foot shorter girl than this, like, huge bodybuilder dude, he still gets killed,
Yeah,
right?
he's not
It's
like a bodybuilder,
like,
but he's
come-
definitely like,
but, like,
in shape.
buff,
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, speaking of that, the killer is on the phone with Gail, and she's like, oh, I guess your boyfriend's muscles didn't do anything. And Gail goes, yeah, they didn't. And then I was like, do you
care? Like, what?
Exactly, that's the thing.
Huh.
Gail basically became super irredeemable.
Wow.
And then she, like, literally her boyfriend's dead. And the camera's looking at the boyfriend while she's in the background. And like, yeah, I guess the muscles didn't do anything. She goes, no, doesn't look like they did. And I was like, was that your boyfriend? Or was that just
what
a
the
guy
fuck?
that, like, happened to be in the same
It was a
room?
male escort.
Did you? Yeah, was it a male escort?
Yeah.
I was
Just
like,
paid him for the day.
but the dude looked like he could defend himself. But they've done that in almost every Scream movie past one.
Oh, past
Because
one,
in
even.
Scream 3, Patrick Warburton plays a bodyguard, like, security, and he's big as shit.
Yeah.
Immediately dies.
Huh.
Because he gets stabbed in the back and then he gets killed. And in that one, he's getting killed by Roman, who's, like, a foot shorter than him. And I get it. It doesn't matter about your muscle, whatever. Depends about, like, fighting, battle IQ, whatever. Or, like, surprise.
Battle
Study
IQ, yeah.
Napoleon.
Study
Your inner
Napoleon.
chakras.
Or whatever. You know, Riccio got a lot of guts. But at the same time, it's ridiculous to have almost every character get killed and they never really put up a fight. Because when Wes Hicks gets killed in Scream 5, the knife is being pushed at him and he's holding the dude's arms, lets one go, tries to get his taser or his pepper spray, goes back, and then the knife is getting closer and he goes, fuck you! And gets like stabbed. And I was like, but you're fighting Richie, and Richie's not a big dude. So like, it's always just weird to always have your killers overpower and like over just kill people. But I'm like, but it's human versus human.
Right.
Why? And also, like,
unless it's already established that it's, like, non-human, of course,
I will
which
say
can
Scream
happen,
6, there was a moment where all three heroes did beat the shit out of one Ghostface, but then the second one showed up. And I was like, okay, but you had that one on the ropes. Maybe just kill him. I don't know why two characters started walking away. Oh, I was talking to Patrick, but I'm sick and tired of horror movies, and just movies in general, when you want your party to split up and you don't know how to write it. Because again, in Scream 6, when two characters ran out of the room, ran down flights of stairs before they realized their sisters weren't following them, it's like, do you not care about your fucking family or, like, your friends? Like, how far away did you get? It's like that part, this is going to be a weird metaphor, but it's like that part in Joe Dirt, where he talks to his parents and like, oh, we didn't look over there. He goes, well, how long did you look for it? You realize, like, how far did you drive before you realized I wasn't in the car? Like, what the fuck did you abandon me? So when they ran out of that room, I was like, they were abandoning you, especially because those two are love interests. They straight up abandoned their family. And then I was like, it's because the writer and the director, they don't know how to separate characters because, again, Ghostface is a human. If 5 people jump his ass, he's done. He's dead.
Yeah,
he's fucking dead. Oh, he has a knife. He's dead.
Yeah.
There's 5 characters, And there's a part where she like goes over to grab a knife, but someone took all the knives out, and she's like, oh, and she's fumbling around. I was like, grab the fucking block, hit him. And she did, but it took her like 12 minutes to figure that out.
Right, it's never established Ghostface is like a combat expert or anything. It's just a dude. It's just a person.
It's like a dude.
Normal,
Because first one, 2 high schoolers. Gonna skip the second one.
Right.
Third one, it's a fucking movie writer. It's a writer. It's a dweeb. And then 4 is
That
a high
means
school
you, Josh.
girl,
looking at you,
and then
Josh.
like a skinny
What you
dweebenheimer,
looking for?
and then
just
in
directed
5 it's 2 dweebs, and then it's in 6 it's 2 dweebs and a cop.
The cop makes sense, but
Yeah, but he also sucked. Who runs at someone with a gun? Like he
that
hasn't
was like in no, was it Halloween? Yeah, Halloween, where the lady's got the revolver
And she
she's like,
runs
"Knock it down,
up, yeah.
motherfucker," and she's like walking up.
No,
to
isn't
her.
it a Desert Eagle?
It's a desert
Yeah.
because she
Jeez.
once hands it and it goes.
Ugh.
I think
that's brutal.
Do we have anything else to wrap up with the Scream franchise? Because I think we're getting.
Do you want, Josh? Do you want to talk about our box office? There we
Oh, yeah, let's
there?
go over some
see,
notes.
See what happened.
Hell
what-
yeah.
Final notes about Scream. Fucking stop making them. Because they also made
Just
a TV
give
show.
up.
I don't know if you guys ever knew about the TV
Yeah,
show.
what even happened?
No,
to the TV
what?
Show?
I didn't know it was a TV
Yeah,
show.
they made a
It
TV
happened
show.
and
Oh.
nobody I knew talked about
You gotta
it.
look it up. 'Cause
I do?
They made a TV show and they changed the mask.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, it's not the
Jeez.
Ghostface mask. It's like
Didn't
a,
I'd say it
it looks like it's sucking.
began in some like weird ass fucking. I don't even know how to describe it.
They
It
just
was
fucked
like-
it up. Basically, it sounds like.
It was like more human face like, and the
Ew.
fucking mouth was like
Did they try to do like a leather face? Oh no, it was
no,
something
no,
else.
it
It's
wasn't
like,
a leather face. It was still like a stupid
Oh, shit.
white mask.
No, I do remember seeing that, and I actually literally thought that was a spoof.
Nope, that's
Like,
the
no.
that's the Scream.
That's
TV
official.
show.
But I thought
Okay.
eventually they actually changed it to the classic.
To the
mask.
classic.
Did they? Do
I
they have the
think
rights
so.
to that?
Probably.
Fuck them.
Well,
Who knows?
They have the fucking rights to Scream.
How the fuck
And-
did they get the mask from all the killers in Scream 6? How the fuck
Who
do you,
fucking knows,
how,
man?
How do you have every mask? How the fuck did no one throw those away? What psychopath in the police department was keeping that shit?
Anyway, Josh, what you got for us?
So the original
And
gross
fuck you for killing Dewey!
341 million adjusted, and whatever one I'm assuming 6
It's
came
the
out
last one, yeah.
2022
Yeah.
was 138 million, 139 rounded up. But most of these are going down. Honestly.
You know what?
Yeah.
Pour one out for our boy Wes Craven.
Dude,
Gone too
I
soon.
love Wes Craven.
Yeah.
And it sucks that he's not directing Scream.
That was a legendary film.
Yeah. And it sucks that he's not doing 5 and 6, but at the same time, after 4 and My Soul to Take, I don't think I want him to do any more Scream movies.
No, he's not that. Sorry, Wes Craven fans. He's not that amazing of a director, but he's a very fun director. So when he's given the opportunity,
I think and you're going to agree with this. I think him and John Carpenter, you're also going to agree with this. I think they hit highlights at the time that they were big because you and me watched Ghosts of Mars.
Hell yeah, we did.
And that was John Carpenter's like exit
Oh.
movie. And then he came back and did The Ward, and then he's like, I'm done with movies. And it's like
we need to watch The Ward.
We do.
I haven't seen that.
oh really? It's actually pretty good. But
Really?
yeah.
I don't believe you.
It's got Amber Turd in it. Amber Ward. But I do agree with Josh that like I like Wes Craven. But comparing like his directing to like newer movies or whatever, I get it. But comparing his newer movies to nowadays movies, like My Soul to Take, I'm with Josh. That movie kind of blows.
it's
like-
fun to watch and make fun of, like the
Like the
blind
black kid?
Yeah.
Oh god.
There's this blind kid in the movie who like
Forrest Whitaker's son,
I
nephew.
don't know. Well,
Baby?
there's 2 sequences with them. The whole point is everyone's getting
Sugar
killed
baby?
off, and there's a part at the beginning of the movie where they're walking into the woods at night, and this blind kid is like, "All right, see you guys later," and he like just walks into the woods, and then
Okay.
later in the movie, no flashlight. I mean, he can't see anyway. But it looks weird visually.
That's why he turns off flashlight. Oh shit! I can find this shit. I just need a flashlight.
But well, later in the movie, spoilers, there's a part where there's like something in his closet, and he's like, "Oh God, what's in my closet?" He opens it, and it's the blind kid.
Okay.
And the blind kid's like stabbed, and he's like, "Oh, what happened to you?" And he's like, "Well, I got a phone call from you, and you said, hey, come over to my house. So I came over to your house, and while I was out in front of your house, I got stabbed. So after I got stabbed, I climbed up the trellis, went up to your bedroom window, opened it, went into your bedroom, and then I hid in the closet.
And
Then he dies. And he's
Okay.
like, well, how did you do that? That's amazing.
He's like, oh, also I can see. I've been lying the whole time. You know what's funny? So Ryan, have
Yeah.
you seen My Soul to Take? Do you know?
No, I don't know
We should
nothing.
watch it.
So My
Okay,
Soul to
I'm
Take
down.
is about
Right now.
a serial killer who dies, and on the same night he dies, 5 babies are born at the same time. And it's rumored that one of the babies has the soul of the serial killer, which is now funny that I talk about Scream 6 and 5, where one of the children has the soul of a serial killer in her blood. And
It's like a Halloween thing, too.
it is like a Halloween
Yeah.
thing. It's like
Damn.
fucking Curse of Michael Myers. But yeah, so that's My Soul to Take is there's all these characters, all these stupid kids, and they're like, one of us is the killer.
It's literally Bug.
Yeah, it's in our blood. And then the blind kid's like, yeah, I did all these amazing feats. Also, I'm blind.
And then he dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pieces
Excellent.
So how does the killer reveal go again?
I don't even want to say it because it's one of the greatest reveals I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
All right, we won't talk about it, but we definitely will watch it.
All right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
listeners,
but-
watch My
but
Soul to Take.
Talking about Wes Craven and then comparing his 2 movies, My Soul to Take and Scream 4, did he do another one before he passed? Or is it just those 2?
I don't know.
I can't think of another one that he did.
Maybe I regret my last 2 movies.
Ooh.
It's the biopic.
That's Drag Me to Hell.
At the end of his biopic, it's just like 10 minutes of him just crying.
But yeah, comparing those 2 movies to like his previous work, it's like, man, I don't know if you're like giving up on directing or writing, because again, watching Scream 4, at the end of it, I was like, well, that's the last Scream movie. Like, there won't ever be another Scream. They'll
You would
probably
hope not, yeah.
And then they made Scream 5, and I was like, this has to be the last one, right? And then they're like, here comes Scream 6. I'm
It's
like,
you.
whoa.
You're the reason they're making them. You keep saying there can't possibly be another one.
They're doing it
It's
right!
could be wrong,
I'm
yeah.
sorry! And then I just like in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, when that guy takes that steak knife and goes,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. That guy played Hercules. He's also in Twilight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kellen Lutz?
Yep, his
What?
last,
Kellen Putz?
his last 2 were My Soul to Take and then Scream 4. But let's not forget, did any of you ever watch the movie Red Eye?
No!
Oh.
With Cillian Murphy and
Yeah.
Rachel McAdams?
Oh.
I gotta watch that.
That's a really good movie.
Yeah?
Huh.
Oh, so his last 3 movies, he did a good one and then 2
Well,
shit?
no,
Oh.
that wasn't his.
What was the one before Scream 4 then?
So his last one was Scream 4.
Abadi,
Before
abadi.
that, it was
Oh.
My Soul to Take. Before that, it was Paris Jeton.
Sounds artsy.
What the fuck? It's 2 hours and it's rated R?
Paris.
What genre is?
Well, I gotta
I don't know.
watch that.
Let me
Okay.
see here. It says
Porno.
it is comedy, drama, romance.
Oh, what the fuck?
Interesting.
Curious,
It
yeah.
has 7.2 on IMDb,
That's pretty
which
good.
is better
Yeah.
than Scream 4 and My Soul to Take on IMDb.
7.2 is a very safe zone for movie ratings, I think.
That's what you say. Probably because your last movie was 7.2.
My last movie I made, it'd
Yeah.
probably be lower than that.
Yeah, I was-
It's 7.2 to us.
When I was watching Bloom, I was like, wow, he's taking a lot of inspiration from My Soul to Take.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell that the birds are actually reincarnated serial killers.
No, I thought he was taking some stuff from My Soul to Take because of all the dog shit that was in it.
Hey, that's rude. My Soul to Take is a gem.
But I actually remember who, like, I don't remember much. I know who the killer was in My Soul to Take, but I don't remember much of like the big reveal. But we gotta watch that again. It's been so long. I just
watch
remember the trailer trying to be like hype as shit, and I watched the movie. I was like, well, this movie is not.
It let you down
You
hard.
guys want me to tell you the killer reveal?
Well, I know who the killer is.
All right. Gather round, my boys.
Okay.
So the killer reveal in that movie, right after the blind kid, like, "Ah!" they the other kid comes up. He's like, "Bro, what the fuck's happening? What's going on?" And he's like, "I don't know. This blind guy died. Blind friend." And they go into this whole like dialogue because the whole movie is trying to trick you that the main character Bug is the killer. Because he's got this stupid little knife that looks like you like when you go into a tobacco store.
Yeah,
Like, whoa, the knives! And you like,
Okay.
get the stupidest looking one.
Like
That's the
Switchblade or
killer's
whatever?
weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
he keeps
whole
flipping it out because he's like, eh.
yeah, he's like, I've got to be the killer. And the whole movie, he's getting chased by the killer, who just literally he just looks like Rob Zombie.
Well, it is Rob Zombie.
He's like, motherfucker, like throwing everything around while he's trying
Hey,
to
throws the
kill
kid
him.
off a bridge. He goes, fuck.
But so the killer reveal, they're both in this room, they're the last surviving one, so it's like one of us has to be the killer. And it's the dumbest back and forth where the first guy, he's got like a steak knife or something. I haven't seen this in a long time, so if this is me going crazy and imagining all this.
He's trying
We'll
to
have
take
to
her
see.
soul.
Shit.
Well, so he's got a knife and he's like, if I was the killer, I'd kill you right now. But I'm not gonna. You know, he puts the knife down and the other guy's like, if I was the killer, I'd do exactly the same. But I'm not. And then they keep going. They go back and forth several times where he's like, you know, I thought a lot about killing lately, but I don't want to act on it. And then finally the other kid's like, I pushed my dad down the stairs. He broke his neck and died. And he's like, oh. And he's like, yeah, I killed people too. And he goes, oh. And he kills him.
And he's like, oh, right. And then he goes, wait, Bug, where's your knife? He goes, it's in you. He goes, why is it in me? He goes,
Oh, yeah.
I'm the killer. And then he just goes, I'm like, Thomas, because he like,
What the heck?
because like the killer took over at that moment. He goes, why is it in me? He's like, because you're the killer. He goes, ah. It's just like in his heart. He's like, oh no.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's incredible.
We actually have to wrap up this episode because I think we might be pushing it because we did one chunk that was like 25 minutes, then we did a chunk that was like 45. And then
It's all good.
I mean, it's not.
No.
The episode can only be like 145. Like
You gotta cut
Lightworks
down.
can only do.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll have to cut out all the parts where Patrick says anything.
Stupid
Yeah, you know what to cut out.
Wink.
Put that bleep right at the front of when you start saying it.
Beep in a bear suit.
Yeah, make sure to not actually censor what I say.
Okay.
Just pretend to do it. Like, put the bleep and then you can clearly hear what I say.
Dude, some of those beeps I've done are like really bad because the playback in Lightworks is so fucking bad. Because when I replay it when I'm in Lightworks, totally fine. And then I'll save the video and I look at it and it's like Patrick will be like, he'll be like beep, he'll be like, and then he'll say something he's not supposed to say
That
because
was like some of the funniest shit I've ever read.
No, what you need to do is find a different noise for the censor. Like, back when we did, like, the
Scream.
dinosaur sounds.
oh yeah, when I read that
Do Patrick's like chimp noise.
Yeah, take my chimp noise and do it.
chip noise, I could steal like Josh doing the lotion. But we should wrap up.
Anyway,
I'll do the outro.
You're doing it?
Why was I
Okay.
doing the outro? Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to do the outro of like, I got something to say, but we'll go around and say goodbye. So thanks everyone for listening. I was one of your hosts, Blake. We talked about the Scream franchise, which I love the original trilogy. I'm gonna watch the trilogy on October 1st because in October I'm gonna watch a whole bunch of horror movies. And I'll start with the Scream trilogy. Those are the only movies that matter in the Scream franchise. Next to me is
My name is Patrick. I'm not gonna watch horror movies every day of October. I was also one of your hosts who talked about Scream. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite movies,
alright.
like Blake. I think Blake is just really blowing it out of proportion, honestly. I think it's like one of Wes Craven's worst movies he's ever made.
Worse than My Soul to Take.
Hell yeah.
Of
My
course.
Soul to Take is the best movie he's
We
ever
explained
made.
3 separate parts of My Soul to Take that are clearly superior to
Yeah,
Scream.
I had a lot more fun talking
What about
My
the
Soul
part
to
where
Take.
his sister pays that bully to kick Bug's ass every day? And he's like, yo, what level you want today? She goes, how about level 3? He goes, yeah, I'm good at level 3.
I don't even remember that.
All right. Well, apparently I do!
Hey, anyway,
Anyways.
I was another host, Patrick. Who are you?
I'm also another host, Ryan. I like Scream 1 a lot. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I'll probably watch Scream 2. And next to me is...
Josh, Scream. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, you can. Scream was good. We talked about it.
But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Like I said, Brian, do not pause the
I
fucking
didn't do shit. I was
He was
just
just
ready.
get ready!
God damn it, Ryan!
Like I
Christ.
said, to kind of help this podcast grow, we need people to listen, but also, please make sure to share and comment or like or whatever that causes that. Because we
Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so you're notified of the videos. Send this video to your family, friends,
and your
pets.
parents.
Yep.
Co-workers.
Oh, also, my parents won't watch it because I cuss too much. Well, my mom won't, my grandma won't. But I also want to say, check out the link, because I never say this in the video, so I don't think anyone checks out the bio. But if you look at the information of the videos, the description, thank you, fuck. I list everyone else's YouTube channels, and importantly, if you want to see Josh's content, look for it in the description. Because a lot of people don't look at descriptions, because fuck descriptions. You're welcome, baby. You're welcome, big dog. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening to the Scream franchise, and thanks Wes Craven for making 3 great movies.
Are you recording still?
We are, yeah. We're
Okay.
yeah. Are
Wait,
you done?
what do you mean for making 3?
Is it
great
over?
movies?
Well, 3 great Scream movies.
Okay.
End it.
Get off the
End
computer.
it!
Don't touch that.